Hi guys, welcome back. So we've got all sorts of confusion over postponements, when the Six Nations is going to finish, but we have one constant, and that is England versus Wales is a massive match. Standalone, by itself, bragging rights, it's a brilliant match. We've got the teams out, and we've got some interesting selections. So let's get into it. Here's the home team, England on the side. Starting front row, Marlon George Sinclair. So the same starting front row. Genge maybe deserves a start, as in his performances have been fantastic, but there is logic in starting Marler. He's an excellent scrummager, very experienced, incredibly strong, and if you want impact off the bench, well, Genge probably brings you more impact. That's not to say Genge maybe was very close to a start here. Anyway, makes sense. Let me know if you think Genge should start. Then we've got a Toje Cruz in the second row. I thought Laws might move to the second row, but no surprise, I guess, from Eddie's perspective here. He's keeping Courtney Laws at 6. Now, Courtney Laws needed to start. What a fantastic player. I thought maybe it was second row, but he's staying there at 6. He did have a great game, but the surprise is at 7. Wilson comes in instead of Underhill. Wow, big shock. No idea where that came from. Underhill has performed fantastically well. Now, Eddie likes Wilson. I said in my last video, Wilson will be close to selection. I didn't think he'd start over Underhill, and no Underhill on the bench as well is a big shock. Is he carrying an injury? I don't know. Anyway, what does Wilson bring that Underhill doesn't? I don't know really. Probably experience, maybe leadership. Who knows? Let me know what you think. He's not playing 8 because Tom Curry is clearly England's first choice 8 at the moment, second under Billy. So that's the pack. Let me know what you think. In the back line, not a lot changes, but good news. Anthony Watson comes in on the wing. JJ was just covering the wing. England now actually have their first choice back 3, which is brilliant. Many want Watson to play 15, but for him to come straight back in from injury to 15, I think is a bit of an ask anyway. Plus, Daly went really well at 15 last match. So in the long term, maybe Watson will go to 15, but at the moment, certainly May and Watson on the wings and Daly at fullback is exactly what England would have wanted at this point. We've got Farrell and Tuolangi as the centres with forward at 10. Now, at some point, I would love to see Tuolangi 12 and Slade at 13, but at the moment, it makes sense. Tuolangi's had a fantastic impact against Ireland and looking as good as he did in the World Cup, so that's great news. Bench, very similar. Cowan Dickey, Genge, Stewart, Launchbury, and Yules continues. Now, I was trying to think, where's the logic in playing Yules? He's a good player, but do we need any more second rows? No. He's probably going to go into the back row again, or may do. Why? Now, England won against Ireland, and I heard comments like Eddie Jones saying, well, that justifies the selection, and people saying it silences the critics, but no. I mean, maybe someone could have come onto the back row and done better than Yules, potentially. Victory doesn't mean it's the best selection. But why is Yules in there? Now, I've got a theory. I think maybe it's something to do with Proudfoot, the scrum coach, wanting more push from his back 3 in the scrum. It's something I've read that England have been working on. And Charlie Yules, most definitely as a second row, would be very used to giving you more push in the back row, less popping your head up and having a look. I think maybe that's what it is. Let me know what you think. Anyway, the in-form back row in England in Ben Earl continues on the bench, which is great news. No Underhill isn't such great news, but anyway. And the 2 backs replacements, because again it's 6 and 2, that looks like the way they're going this year. Hines and Slade. I want to see Slade, check he's 100% fit, and of course I want to see him at 13 as well. But that's the England team. Let me know what you think. Is it going to be good enough? Are there good selections, poor selections in there, and what would you change, if anything? The Welsh team is out, put it on the side. Now, the good news for Wales is a lot of those injury worries have actually cleared up. Well, or at least they're fit enough to play. So, the back 3, again, looks very strong now. Halfpenny, North and Liam Williams. Fantastic back 3 from what could have been a real patched-together back 3. This looks good on the surface. However, Williams has just come back from injury, so how fit is he going to be? North hadn't been playing great, to be honest. Even though he's back fit, which is good, he needs a big game. Halfpenny's been okay. So It's a back three, kind of low on maybe not experience, but they're low on good performances potentially due to injuries or timeout or just not performing that great. Centres are the same, Parks and Tompkins, as we now expect. That looks like the 12-13 for this Six Nations, of course. I think maybe when Jonathan Davis comes back, they should look at possibly trying him at 12. As he gets a bit older, maybe 12 could be a better slot for him, alongside someone exciting like Tompkins could be the way forward. Anyway, that aside, at 9, Thomas Williams plays scrum half. Gareth Davis drops out completely. I think it's the right call. I think Thomas Williams is their best scrum half at the moment. I don't think Gareth Davis has done enough, and I think you need to have a look at Webb. Rhys Webb has been unbelievable for Wales in the past. He's played a few games, he's got some match fitness under his belt. Let's see if he can recapture that form that he had shown a number of years ago. So I think that's the right call. Bit harsh on Gareth Davis maybe, but I think it's the right two. Anyway, in the forwards, change in the front row. I said I think I'd want to change up the front row. I'd put in Rhys Carey straight in. They've gone for Rob Evans. Fair enough. I think they need a bit more around the park, and Carey is on the bench, so I think that's much better at loose heads. Owens and Lewis rounding out the front row as normal. Same second row in Ball and Alan Wynne-Jones, which is good news. In the back row, a little bit of change and a bit of confusion actually. Moriarty stays at 6, so no Wainwright and no space for Wainwright on the bench. I don't know if he's fit or not, but he hadn't been playing amazing. Tipperick stays at 7, even though on the BBC it does say he's at 8. I didn't believe it, so I checked in other places, and it does look like he's at 7, thank God. Navidi, though, comes in for Talupe Faletau. Wow, is this the first time Faletau's been dropped whilst he's been fully fit? I don't know. He had to play at the weekend. Did that come into it and he didn't train? And is it the fact that Faletau's just been quiet, to be honest? He's been okay, but a bit quiet. And Navidi was brilliant for Wales before he got injured. Not sure which one of those it is, but good to see Navidi back. He's at 8. Then the bench, like I mentioned a few, Elias, Carey and Brown in the front row. Shingler returns as that flexible second row and back row option alongside Faletau coming off the bench. Let's see if he can reclaim his starting spot. Then Webb coming in, Jared Evans at 10 again, and McNichol on the bench. So it's a stronger team than maybe they were going to have out, with all the injury worries they had. So that's the Welsh team. Let me know what you think. Back row selection, is it the right call? But it's definitely a stronger team than what maybe they could have selected with all those injuries. But are they fully fit? Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of those teams. If you want any England or Wales stash, please use my link in the description below and the code for 10% off. And I'll be back next time, probably reacting to the Scotland team against France.